There is a miserable man living a miserable life in a miserable town, in a miserable state, in a miserable country. He slaves away at a difficult dead-end factory job all day, every day, which slowly breaks his bones, even though most of his money goes right back to the government. Then he comes home to a wife that, while beautiful on the outside, is absolutely hideous on the inside and shatters his heart repeatedly. His teenage children are meaner to him than his bullies in high school were. In truth, only the dog treats him well. His parents came to America long ago in hopes of giving him a better life. However, all he has been given is taxes and racism. He speaks perfect English, but anytime he utters a mere word of Spanish in public, he is chastised, or worse, told to go back to his own country. He was born in Texas. America is his country. All of his money goes to bills, his bleached blonde wife's fashion and beauty addictions, and his children's desperate need for the most expensive technology and named-brand clothing. This is due to their insatiable desire to put on an air of richness, or some sense of being better than everyone else. His daughter is a cheerleader and his son the captain of the football team. Ironically, they're close to failing all their subjects because they refuse to stop doing drugs they buy with their allowances, but somehow it is all his fault for not being able to afford to get them the newest iPhone. He lives in a quaint little house with a perfectly green and manicured yard surrounded by a lovely picket fence, if one could call it living. His neighbors put on masks of smiles but mock him and his family under their breath. But what they don't realize is that this man, his wife, and children are just as miserable as they are. The American dream is truly a nightmare. The family hides their self-indulgent misery in beautiful church clothes every Sunday morning and Wednesday evening, and everyone there thinks they are the ideal husband, wife, daughter, and son. They make sure to sing the hymns ever so loudly so that everyone can hear them. But they know in their blackened hearts they are wicked, cheering for a pastor as he calls for the condemnation and hatred of innocent people, instead of helping the poor and needy like Jesus taught. He does not yet understand why these sermons have such an effect on him, but he always leaves feeling unsafe and unnerved. While his family cheers for death and decay, he wonders if he will ever experience life and love again, and prays to Jesus for true salvation, not the kind that is being sold to him like snake oil. The man is overweight, he is balding, he drinks far too much, the memories of his departed parents still haunt him. His sad, tired eyes are sinking in, and he has dark circles beneath them. He dresses blandly with sauce stains on white tank tops, and he doesn't have the best hygiene. But he was once beautiful and healthy, long before this corrupt society tricked him and sold him pretty little lies. The world robbed him of his youth, his vigor, his strength. His life has become truly worthless to the only person that truly matters, himself. Why is he so lost in the darkness? Because with every transgression, a little more light has left his eyes. After years of begging his beloved wife to treat him right, and demanding his children to respect him, he has given up. After all, one cannot force another to love them, even if they are connected by blood. He has worked his entire life making such sacrifices and suffering to reach for the things he was promised would fulfill him. Fleeting things, beautiful garbage, lovely on the other side of the picket fence, but in truth worthless and artificial. With hidden wounds, both physical and emotional, he faces each day with a false smile. His life is a facade, a farce in countless acts. When will he take off the mask? When will the show finally come to an end and the curtain close once and for all? But he was not always so broken. Once upon a time he smiled, he laughed, he loved. Sincerely. He had hobbies like reading and writing stories before the job stole his youth and his family stole his free time. There was a fleeting moment when his wife adored him, doted on him, kissed him, held him, didn't fuck everyone else but him. And when his kids were young and sweet, they called him Daddy. Now they call him by his name, or something vulgar. But all that was so long ago that those sweet memories seem more like dreams to him. In fact, the only time he is ever happy is when he sleeps. Of course, it is in a separate, albeit messy room, far away from his screeching bird of a wife. That is the only time he can be alone, and let me come out and play. For when he closes his eyes, I take over, and I come alive. I am he, and he is me. Though I am but a boy, and he is a middle-aged man, once upon a time, he was me. long before the darkness took hold, before the heartache wore him down, before the darkness had corrupted him. I hold all the light and love he ever, and will ever, feel. The innocence that is me was once in him, and while I hold his memories within it, my mind is that of a child's, so most of his actions and beliefs I just do not understand. But my heart aches along with his because they are one and the same. As soon as he falls asleep beneath the stars, I awaken within my bedchambers, warmed by the sun shining through my windows. Our parents, the rulers of the kingdom, beg me, the little prince of Somnia, not to venture out further into the realm of dreams, but it is all we, as in the dreamer and I, want, and he craves this nightly escape desperately. I wield a toy wooden sword enchanted by the magic of childhood. With it I battle living shadows which are the wretched children of nightmare, a dark being of pure malice and misery who threatens to cover my entire kingdom in darkness. My companion and sidekick, Theodore, is a sentient teddy bear. With a magical book of fairy tales, we sail through the skies on a large flying canopy bed. Theodore and I have conquered mountains, explored ancient temples and crumbling castles, swam the 9 seas, flown amongst the clouds, braved deep caverns, traversed many an enchanted forest. Yet I still search for the dream the dreamer was promised by our parents, the king and queen. When he was but a child, they set us down and told us a fairy tale adventure awaited us when we came of age. We were to meet someone that swept us off our feet, romanced us, loved us truly, someone who we would go on countless adventures with, rescuing damsels fair and slaying mighty dragons. And they knew this because it happened to them when they met one another. However, the dreamer was tricked by a wicked witch. The clock struck 12, and he found himself living in a nightmare, tied to her by an accursed ring that he foolishly accepted, and so I swore to myself that I would find a way to free him. The enchanted tome of stories not only serves as a map guiding Theodore and I around the land of dreams, but it also possesses transformation magic. With it, I have become a fairy godmother so I could help Cinderella go to the ball. Once I transformed into a merman so that I could befriend a mermaid princess and help her find a sea witch to turn her human. Another time it turned me into a vampire so that I could rescue Little Red Riding Hood from a werewolf. With Thumbelina, I became a tiny fairy assisting her with her travels. With Pinocchio, I became a cricket that served as his conscience. With the Beast, I became a talking cat dressed in fancy clothes and walking upright as one of his servants, assisting him in winning the heart of a young lady that was beautiful on both the outside and the inside. As a dwarf, I assisted Snow White in surviving multiple plots against her by her wicked stepmother, the evil queen, from a neighboring kingdom. And with Sleeping Beauty, I became an elven knight, assisting her prince in slaying a dragon so that he could awaken her with true love's kiss. Sometimes, I think that it may all be pointless. No matter what I transform into, no matter what magical spell is cast, no matter how many happily ever afters I bring to my kingdom, at the end of our every adventure is the same moral. Nothing is going to change unless we change it ourselves, and the dreamer lets his fear keep him from trying. Only recently did I decipher the code, uncover the secret, learn to read the ancient text of prophecy. The dreamer is searching for something in his sleep, wailing out in the night, waking himself up with the most inconsolable weeping, all of which goes ignored by his family. No, it isn't something he seeks, it is someone. His desire for romance and companionship is what is driving me to venture forth into the realm of dreams. He seeks someone his subconscious calls his dream boy. This dream boy he desperately seeks takes the shadowy silhouetted form of someone we both loved at one time. We had met him in kindergarten, and he grew up alongside us, adjacent in every imaginable way. He was beautiful, with dark skin, waves in his short textured hair, and sparkling night sky eyes. We laughed and frolicked together in fields of flowers as children, going on many imaginative adventures, play-fighting with wooden swords. We played together, slept together, bathed together, created together. Nigh inseparable, we were. And we were far more than friends, even as children, and in our hearts we knew that. It felt as if we were one soul in 2 bodies, our hearts tethered together by ribbons of adoration and affection. But it wasn't a love corrupted with lust. It was a pure, innocent, untouched love, untouched by the complications of adulthood. That was, until we became teenagers. It was then that our curiosity slowly began to grow. as did our intimacy alongside it. And by the time we were 16, we both craved touch. We wanted to kiss, to feel, to taste. We wanted all of one another, and without a single thought of how it would affect us, we ravenously gave into our secret carnal cravings. The night watched over us, protecting our secret love from the light of day, from prying eyes full of hatred and prejudice. And there was something romantic, the dreamer thought, about hiding this love from the world, as if it made it special, something only for them. But one fateful Sunday, we sat with our beloved in a pew in a church, and the pastor was preaching hate yet again. Sadly, our friend seemed to take it to heart, and he began to recluse. Afterwards, even though we told him we did not need the physicality if it bothered him so, something about the very memory of our love seemed to frighten him away from us. At first, he stopped spending the night with us on the weekends. He would tell us that his parents didn't want friends over at his house either. Then, it seemed, he started to have less free time with each passing week, and he slowly faded from our lives, replacing us with a beautiful girlfriend, leaving us alone and isolated, feeling hollow and used, suffocating in silence, crying into the dark where we once made love. But the dream boy was not the beloved friend from our childhood. He was only shaped like him. The dreamer did not want him specifically. He only hungered for a loving relationship similar to the one he had with him. But instead of choosing to stand up and fight for what he wants, he lets himself slowly rot in that miserable house with that miserable wife. It's like he is just waiting around for his dream to come true, like he is content to live in a nightmare. But every fairy tale Theodore and I have ventured through has proven that this is not how destiny works. In order to reach one's dreams, one must first chase them. And I've run myself ragged chasing every dream in this land, and not a one of them turned out to be his. Theodore and I have only ever caught fleeting glimpses of this dream boy. Shadows of the corners of our eyes, flying across cavern walls behind campfires, or watching me through the trees in a dark forest. Part of me is beginning to wonder if the dreamer himself is somehow keeping him away. How can someone want something so much, but still be terrified of finding it? I just do not understand these confusing inner machinations of the adult mind. Children are much more simple. When we want something, we ask for it. Nightmare's storm of darkness is spreading. Even now it rages on the borders of my kingdom of Somnia. As the prince, my people look to me to save them. I can fight an army of living shadows with my blade in hand and Theodore by my side. But at the end of the day, I am but the inner child of a broken man, only tasting freedom when he sleeps. I remember how we would lie on the grass on summer days in our backyard. We would watch those massive white clouds slowly flowing across those endless blue skies, and how we would wonder what other worlds lie just beyond our own. Now, I have seen the entirety of the realm of dreams. Every inch of my map has been explored, every magical spell has been cast, every curse broken. Every story has been told, and yet he refuses to act. He refuses to choose happiness. He refuses to save my kingdom and set me free. I find myself marching through my kingdom, gripping my wooden sword. Theodore is at my side, as he always is, and we are making our way through a crowd of my people, all shocked into silence as they stare. This very morning, Nightmare has appeared at the border. Behind him, an army of his living shadows, waiting for his order to attack, the dark storm raging in the distance. His nightly obsidian armor shimmers in the light of the two suns, and his red eyes glow from within his helmet. "Nightmare," I greeted him solemnly. "Little prince," he replies. He is sitting upon the back of a black-armored horse with a flaming mane and tail. Theodore harumphs beside me. Crossing his arms, he turns away indignantly. "You must surrender. If you do not, my storm will destroy your kingdom," the villain says. I take a deep breath. "What is it that you want?" He chuckles in his inhumanly deep voice. "The crown, of course." Staring downward at the cobblestone road below me, my hands begin to tremble at my sides. Remove your helmet, I demand, flashing a determined glare back up to him. He seems to be taken aback by this request as he stumbles over his words. His steed whinnies and shakes his head uncomfortably. What? He manages. I want to see the face of the man that finally defeated me. Consider it my dying wish. Nightmare stares at me in silence for a few moments. All eyes slowly move over to him, including those of his beastly shadow children. Swallowing nervously, he attempts to change the subject. Did you know that my beautiful creatures are the shadows of the friends that you miss? I keep my glare locked onto the glowing red orbs that served as his eyes. Fascinating. Remove your helmet, please. And my storms of darkness are the emotional storms the dreamer has brewing within him. All the heartbreak and anger and grief he's experienced over the years. It's quite volatile at this point, I believe. Isn't that lovely? Remove your helmet. He laughs again. Very well, little prince. With that, he takes a hold of the horned helmet and slowly removes it, revealing a face that looked exactly like my own. Instead of green eyes, however, his are red. My dark hair contrasts greatly with his stark white as well, and my sun-kissed skin is a bit darker than his shimmering ivory visage. Suddenly, his armor begins to fall off of him piece by piece. It clangs against the cobblestone as he hops down from the horse. For the first time, he is eye level with me, and I realize he is a child as well. I do not want the crown for myself, he says in a voice that sounded exactly like my own. I want it for us, little prince. I shake my head. You're destructive. The dreamer needs to be destructive, if only for a time, so he can start over again. And how would he start over? He smiles softly like a friend. With your creativity, of course. Holding out his hand to me, he tilts his head. Help me raise a kingdom for the dreamer in the waking world. Don't you think he deserves that after all he has been through? Chills wash over me as I let my blade drop to my feet. Will he finally be able to find his dream? Like the fairy tale heroes and heroines did? Nightmare nods quietly. I promise, that is all I want. Why do you think I've been so angry at everything? Reaching over, I take his hand into my own, and he pulls me closer. His lips meet mine, and pure, righteous light explodes from our kiss, swallowing everything in sight. The dreamer awakes in the middle of the night. After bathing, he shaves his head completely bald and trims his beard. He then packs his things, equips his beloved pup with her harness and collar, and the two of them leave that miserable life behind in hopes of finally finding his freedom. He makes his way back to his small southern hometown in his old pickup truck. At his childhood home, he lies down in the grass of the backyard with his canine companion and stares up at the stars, and a peaceful feeling slowly envelops him, warming him in the cold winter's night. He remembers his childhood teddy bear, Theodore. His mother had given it to him for Christmas, and he brought it everywhere with him. But in losing his parents at such a young age, he did not understand. He cried until everyone let him put the teddy bear in his mother's casket with her. He just didn't want her to go to sleep without someone to watch over her. In that old book of fairy tales that his father would read to him every night before bed, it was that accompanied his dearly departed dad in the afterlife. The dreamer just didn't want them to be without those precious things that brought them closer together as a family. After all, he had his memories. What would they have? Slowly watching the clouds slowly roll across the sky, he wonders what other worlds await beyond his own. He imagines going on fantastical quests, helping merfolk in the sea, fairies in the forest, vampires in gothic castles. And he imagines himself happy. Beyond that fantasy, he wants to help real people, like the homeless and the poor, because he feels as though that is the secret to finding real happiness, and for the first time, he believes that he could finally be happy. Hello? A nervous but masculine voice calls out from behind him. He sounds concerned, perhaps a bit frightened. Can I help you? As the dog barks in surprise, the dreamer turns back and sees a young man on the deck. Framed by the porch light, his cerulean eyes glisten and his rainbow mohawk and matching neatly trimmed short beard seem to shine. He has white skin and a hairy, muscular body, shirtless in a pair of pajama bottoms with classic Disney characters all over them. In his ears are multiple piercings, and he is covered in colorful tattoos, and he is the most beautiful man the dreamer has ever seen. Remembering that this house was sold after his father died, the dreamer stood up at once. I'm so sorry. I grew up in this house, you see, and he petted his pup in order to calm her down as he spoke. He was reluctant at first, but decided to tell this stranger the truth. Well, I have just left my wife, and I needed to feel something other than pain, and the last time I was happy, I was here. Leaning against the guardrail of the deck, the beautiful stranger surprises the dreamer with a smile. Then he giggles. That's hilarious. His breath becomes fog in the icy air. The dreamer arches his brows, hurt by the stranger's words. What? The handsome stranger shakes his head. No, not your story. This situation is funny because I literally just kicked my boyfriend out a few hours ago, he explained. He's boring and mean. Like, pick a struggle, you know? The dreamer blinks repeatedly, staring down at the grass. Oh, he says. Are you okay? The beautiful man nods. I'm a lot better off now than I was yesterday. I need someone kind and adventurous, he replies. Someone that shows me how much they love me. Someone that likes to explore and play and help people too, you know? I may be an adult, but I'm very much in touch with my inner child. I mean, I collect toys from my childhood. And with that, he pulls out a 90s troll doll from his pajamas pocket, smiling widely. With a chuckle, the dreamer nods in agreement. Wow, me too. He blushes, realizing that he finds this young man to be incredibly attractive. Breathless, he longs to get to know him more, a feeling he hasn't had since he first met his wicked wife. I want to travel the world, hike in nature, make tender love in waterfalls, frolic in fields of flowers, stargaze, and talk about the afterlife. I want to get high and play Mario Kart with someone, eat pizza, and laugh all night long. I want to drive all night, going nowhere, holding someone's hand, singing 90s music as loud and as badly as we can. I want to memorize every inch of a lover and get to know them better than they know themselves. I want someone to see me, truly see me, not as a title or a role that I just happen to stumble into, but my spirit, and love it unconditionally. I want to find my happily ever after. The beautiful man smiles and returns his treasure troll doll to his pocket. Stepping off of the porch and into the cold night, barefoot I may add, he approaches the dreamer and kneels down to pet his canine companion. Cute dog, he says, scratching her behind the ears. I love dogs. He then looks back up, meeting his cerulean gaze to the dreamer, taking his breath away yet again. My name's Dream. What's yours?